Mr. Attorney General, thank you for coming. I would like to try to pin down who authorized the subpoenas for the AP. And the Code of Federal Regulations is pretty specific on subpoenas for media. Did Deputy Attorney General Cole do that?
Yeah, I have to assume he did. I have to assume he did. I only say assume because you have to understand that recusals are such that I don't have any interaction with the people who are involved in the case. Under the regulations, the Attorney General has to authorize the subpoena. In my absence, the Deputy Attorney General would, in essence, act as the acting Attorney General.
Do you know if Deputy Attorney General Cole was also interviewed in the investigation that caused your recusal?
I don't know. I don't know. I assume he was, but I don't know.
Why were you interviewed? Were you a witness, or was this a part of your official duties as Attorney General?
No, I was interviewed as one of the people who had access to the information that was was a subject of the investigation. I, along with other members of the National Security Division, recused myself. The head of the National Security Division was left. The present head of the National Security Division, we all recused ourselves. I recused myself because I thought it would be inappropriate and have a bad appearance to be a person who was a fact witness in the case to actually lead the investigation, given the fact, unlike Mr. Cole, that I have a greater interaction with members of the press than he does.
How does that make you a fact witness if you're getting the work product of assistant U.S. attorneys that and the FBI that's looking into a matter? You'd be a policy person in deciding whether or not to proceed with subpoenas or ultimately signing off on an indictment.
No, well, I'm a fact witness in the fact that I am a possessor. I was a possessor. I am a possessor of the information that was ultimately leaked. And the question then is, who of those people who possessed that information, which was a relatively limited number of people within the Justice Department, who of those people, who of those possessors actually spoke in an inappropriate way to members of the Associated Press?
Who else had access to that information?
Well, this is an ongoing investigation. I would not want to reveal what I know, and I don't know if there are other people who have been developed as possible recipients or possessors of that information during the course of the investigation. I don't know.
I'm trying to find out who authorized the subpoena. You can't tell me if Deputy Attorney General Cole authorized the subpoena. Somebody had to authorize the subpoena because the Code of Federal Regulations is pretty specific that this is supposed to go as close to the top as possible.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that I can't say as a matter of fact, but I have to assume, and I'd say I would probably be 95, 99% certain that the Deputy Attorney General, acting in my stead, was the one who authorized the subpoena.
Well, okay. The Code of Federal Regulations also is very specific that there should be negotiations prior to the issuance of the subpoena with the news media organization involved. And the AP has said there was no negotiations at all. Now, there are two different parts of the regulation that may be in conflict with each other. One is more generic than the other, but there were no negotiations whatsoever. And why weren't there negotiations?
That I don't know. There are exceptions to that rule that say that if the integrity of the investigation might be impacted, the negotiations don't have to occur. I don't know why that didn't happen.
But hasn't somebody in the Justice Department said that the integrity of the investigation would not be impacted with negotiations either under subsection C, which is generic, or subsection D, which is more specific?
I don't know. But let me say this. I've just been given a note that we have, in fact, confirmed that the deputy was the one who authorized the subpoena.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to have to talk to him about this. But, Mr. Attorney General, I think that this committee has been frustrated for at least the last 2.5 years, if not the last 4.5 years, that there doesn't seem to be any acceptance of responsibility in the Justice Department for things that have gone wrong. Now, may I suggest that you and maybe Mr. Cole and a few other people go to the Truman Library and take a picture of this thing that he had on his desk that said the buck stops here, because we don't know where the buck stops. And I think to do adequate oversight, we better find out, and we better find out how this mess happened. I yield back the balance of my time.